wait is finally over. 16 years when South Africa welcomed Mexico to Johannesburg right there in 2010, and we had a draw. But this time around, it happened in Mexico, where Mexico welcomed South Africa. The game ended 2-0. Let me inform you that Mexico win the World Cup opener with 3 red cards. Raul Jimenez, the first World Cup goal, comes 6 years after his life-threatening skull fracture. Mexico keep the streak alive, having to win after the loss right there in the last World Cup. Also, let me inform you that South Korea turned things around the second half. Is South Korea's time 14 of their 15 World Cup goals have come in the second half. Heung-min Son starts and plays his 4th World Cup. It's World Cup season right here on Dominion Sport. Let me welcome you especially to Dominion Television, where we talk all things sport right here on the go. I am Paul Abe-Toduwanimi, and this wonderful morning we have the President Federation Cup on the menu. Definitely will be giving you an update in the NWFL Super 6 match day 4. I'll give you an update in the World Cup, and definitely setting the pace right there in the world of Formula 1 and the world of tennis, and not leaving out the world of transfer, ever buzzing, ever blazing. I'm not alone in the studio this wonderful morning. I have Mabuba, the Queen of Sport, joining me to talk sport on the Friday edition of the show. Top of the morning to you. You look super excited. The World Cup is finally upon us, and we're enjoying the frenzy of that. A 3 red card in a game, in a match opener of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Thank you very much for having me, Toluwanimi. I must say that the encounter that went down last night between Mexico and South America wasn't how we hoping it was going to play out. It's perhaps one of the dirtiest or the most dirtiest opening encounter that we've witnessed in this World Cup. But, you know, as we always say, football is a game of on the unexpected. So what happened last night between Mexico and South Korea, I definitely wasn't looking or expecting that. But I would say that one thing that caught my attention before the encounter was the level of support that people had, Africans especially, had behind Mexico and not South America. 16 years ago, it was Africans rallying behind South America because they became the first African country to host the FIFA World Cup. But then this time around, it's Africans supporting Mexico, and that is somewhat expected. We know pretty well that football is a game that unites. Sport generally should be a game that unites, but there are certain times whereby politics can also find its way in the game of football, and I think we're actually seeing that playing out. It's not something that we actually want to happen, but sadly, it's something that is happening. So yeah, there are also a lot of football match to look forward to. The USA going against Paraguay, and other exciting matches to look forward to in the coming days. We're just glad that after 4 years, the biggest tournament in the world of sport is finally back, and we're looking forward to enjoying everything. Beautiful.
We're looking forward to enjoying every bit of that. Remember, like we said, we'll be discussing about the World Cup right here on the show, definitely. But let's take some stories before we dive straight into the World Cup edition of the show. And let me inform you that the President Federation Cup is upon us, but let's look at the result from the games yesterday, where we have Sokoto United playing to El Kanemi Warriors. That one ended in favor of El Kanemi Warriors. Wiki Tourist against Flight FC. The game ended 1-1. They had to head straight down to penalty shootout, and Wiki Tourist edging out on that one. National United against Plateau United. The game ended 2-1. And we have Ikorodu City against Barao. The game ended 2-2, and we went straight down to penalty, and the game went in favor of Oga Boys. It's back-to-back semi-final appearance for Ikorodu City. The Oga Boys are through to the last 4 of the President Federation Cup for a 2nd consecutive season. Can they go one step further and get their hands on the major piece of a silverware? Also, a clash of 2 London heavyweight 3-time champions El Kanemi Warriors will take on Wiki Tourist in an high-stake Northern showdown for a place in the President Federation Cup final. Mabuba, there you have it. Let's look at the fixtures to look forward to for the President Federation Cup. It's exciting times right there. We have El Kanemi Warriors against Wiki Tourist, and we have Nasarawa United against Ikorodu City.
Well, I must say that these two sides, El Kanemi Warriors and Wiki Tourist, it is great that despite their unfortunate result that they had in the NPFL, because we know that they are part of the 2 of the 4 teams that got relegated. It is great to see that in this competition, the FA Cup, it's given much another opportunity for them to stake their leg for something much more tougher. And it's great to see, as I mentioned earlier, they were not able to cement their position to play in the NPFL next season, but it's great that we're seeing them progress further to this level of the competition with the semi-final. But sadly, they are going against each other in the semi-final, which means one of them will have to be relegated. But we do not know if one of them might eventually go ahead to eventually leave the FA Cup, because we know pretty well we can't actually underestimate them, by the way, because the teams that have been facing over time, we can't underestimate those teams as well, because it's a competition. You are qualified. That's why you're playing in this level of sporting events. So we don't know how exactly it's going to turn out, but these 2 sides, they had unfortunate results in the NPFL. But we're looking forward to see how far or which one of them is going to get relegated in the semi-final, and perhaps we might actually see a relegated team in the NPFL go on to lay their hands on the FA title. But then, if we take a look at the 2 other teams, both Nasarawa United and Ikorodu City FC, these 2 sides showed how tough they are in the NPFL, and we know the kind of result that they had, that both El Kanemi Warriors and Wiki Tourists had when they went against Nasarawa United and Ikorodu City. So if either of them should eventually go against Nasarawa United or Ikorodu City, it might be difficult to ascertain exactly it's going to go all the way, but if we consider the factor of these teams dominating in the NPFL, we might want to tilt towards the side of either Nasarawa United or Ikorodu City lifting the FA title.
Let me ask you, what do you think you would love to see, also get a ticket for the continental football for next season among these 4 teams?
Well, I would say Ikorodu City. That is because we mentioned last season that Ikorodu City is a team that has successfully staked their claim right there in the NPFL. This was a team that progressed to the NPFL just 2 seasons ago, and they've done it back to back, that they deserve to actually be in a competitive league as the NPFL, because it's not every team that progressed from the 2nd division to the 1st division that eventually maintains a position and not get relegated all the way. So I definitely love to see Ikorodu City go all the way to representing Nigeria in the Confederations Cup, because, as I mentioned, they proved competitive was due to the fact that they also suffered this old dilemma of them losing away from home that costed them points. So if they can eventually manage to finally lay their hands on the Federations Cup, they are the side that I would love to see represent Nigeria on the continental level.
And maybe just give a good football for Nigeria, because you look at all the teams who are going to represent Nigeria on the big stage of the continental football: Rivers United, Rangers International, Shooting Stars, and Ikorodu City. For me, I would love to see Ikorodu City play on the big stage because of how they play their football, entertaining, compact. You know that they have tactics that they want to just to approach the game, and definitely maybe the Boys of Lagos, having other countries come to the city of Lagos and the boys around it would want me to have Ikorodu City represent Nigeria on the big stage.
Well, I would love, as we mentioned, we definitely love to see Ikorodu there, but the fact of them playing football, that is something I cannot guarantee, because we know pretty well that the level of football that we have here in Nigeria, if we were to compare it to other countries across Africa, it is not on the same level.
So I want to ask you, if you're going to put, all the teams who are going to represent us, on the big stage, and you look at other teams, across the world, you pick the Mamelodi Sundowns, which team can match that? Actually, I know it's quite difficult, but, given a percentage, which team do you think can match that if Ikorodu City is to stake the last claim in continental football?
Well, I would say that no Nigerian team can actually match the level of football that is played outside Nigeria for a league as South African level, Mamelodi Sundowns. But the team that I believe can still come close enough would be Enugu Rangers. Wow, okay. Because we saw the kind of football that Enugu Rangers played in the season the last time out. They are not the kind of team whereby they basically their result is somewhat predictable. It is not predictable. They are perhaps one of the most unpredictable teams that we have right there in the NPFL. The attack is there, and also the defense also has to play a pivotal role in them when they actually went on to secure the NPFL title. We cannot say the same thing for Ikorodu City. There are times whereby at a particular encounter that Nasarawa United defeated Ikorodu City by 4-1. It basically shows that the defense as well is somewhat vulnerable. So if we are seeing a team that is suffering that kind of defeats, that kind of margin right there in the NPFL, then we shouldn't expect anything less when they go against other tougher opponents outside Africa. So for Enugu Rangers, they did prove that they do have that thing. The attack is there, although we cannot actually a certain level of defense when they're going against tough side as the Mamelodi Sundowns, because we know pretty well that Mamelodi Sundowns team is a team that is somewhat homebred. Some of the players that play for Mamelodi Sundowns are also playing for the South African national team. So these are teams that are bringing on national level experience and club level experience, going against teams that only have the Nigerian experience, not even national team experience as well. So it will be somewhat difficult, but at the same time, I'll say Enugu Rangers is that team that can come close enough to a side as Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi will still defeat them definitely, but still, if I had to say which team will come closer, then we'll go with Enugu Rangers.
All right, beautiful. They say defense wins you title. Attack, I'm wondering what was Attack going to do for you? Maybe Nuruddin would have some of those questions for us when he joins us at the second half of the show for the World Cup edition. But let's move away from that. We're talking women's football right now. Nuruddin was on the show yesterday giving so much tactics, and he said FC Robo Queens would bounce back, which they did already, but let's see how far they can go for match day 4. FC Robo Queens are going to face Bayelsa Queens by 9 a.m. We're going to get the result before we leave the show today. Abia Angels against Nasarawa Amazons by 12 noon. We have Edo Queens and Rivers Angels for 3 p.m. Who will take the biggest statements on match day 4? That's a question for you.
Well, Robo Queens going against Bayelsa United. I would say that it's actually kind of like exciting, the fact that Robo Queens were able to come back from the defeats and they eventually, are now they are going against Bayelsa United. It is just nice and, exciting to see. It basically shows that this is a side that even if they go behind, maybe they're on the deficit, they definitely find their way back to top level. And perhaps they might actually be looking forward to replicating that when they go against Bayelsa United as well. And as well for the other team, the Abia Queens, and I really can't see the screen from here, remind me. But, for the other teams, I do think that definitely they also find a way to take their game, because for these teams to progress to this level, it's because they've done the works in the previous encounters that they've had. Even though they suffered defeats, they found a way to put themselves back into the equation. And we're just looking forward to seeing, the fascinating encounters between these ladies across all 6 sides to see how far these teams are going to go. And eventually looking forward to seeing that team that is going to go ahead to lay their hands on the title at the end of the event.
Okay, beautiful. We'll be looking forward to that one. Just like I said, we'll be giving out the result for the game that happened at 9 a.m. Definitely we'll be giving you that update. We're about to move to the World Cup edition of the show right here in Dominion Sport, but you need to stay connected with us. But make sure you please follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe so you can enjoy beautiful content that we are giving you right here on Dominion Television. We're going to go on a break, and when we're back, we'll be discussing about the World Cup edition of the show.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Mexico is the frenzy city, welcoming some fans of football and also some teams to enjoy great entertainment. And definitely we did enjoy that yesterday between Mexico and South Africa. What a time to be alive to enjoy the FIFA World Cup happening in USA, Canada, and Mexico. Definitely, we did enjoy that. We saw the frenzy. We saw all of that arrangement. How the players were going to line up. We're expecting us going to look like. That happened yesterday. We saw the boss, Shakira, Burna Boy, performing on the global stage. Exciting times right there. And definitely, the football lived up to expectations. We're expecting more than that. Maybe South Africa had other options for us, but that did not happen. But before that, before we discuss about that, we have Nuruddin joining us on the show, and Mabuba still on the show right here for the World Cup segment of Dominion Sport. Let's just take some few digest this morning. The morning digest for the World Cup 2026. We're going to be doing that every time on the show. Now, quick one. Now, we're going to update that a fan died near Azteca Stadium in Mexico. Also, DR Congo squad cleared to enter the U.S. And Mexico, South Africa, 3 red cards, World Cup record since 2006. That's the morning World Cup digest right here on Dominion Sport. Let me start off with Sanuruddin. Good morning to you, and how are you feeling this wonderful morning?
I'm fine. Good morning to Olani. Good morning, Mabuba. It's nice to be back again, and I'm just happy. The World Cup kept me up all night, and it was interesting. It lived up to expectations. We are all asking for a reprieve from the negatives that led to the tournament opening and all, and we are still even sorting some issues. You just mentioned a team has just been cleared to play in the US now. The Somalia referee getting a new gig due to that mishap panel. So it's just nice to be back again, and I'm ready to dissect all what happened over the night. All right,
quickly, Mabuba, let's just look at the morning digest from the World Cup this morning. We got the update that fan died near the Azteca Stadium right there in Mexico. Also, the squad are cleared to enter the US, and the 3 red card, the World Cup record since 2006.
Okay, well, let me start off with the part of the unfortunate incident that occurred with our fan died. It's not, that's not the kind of news that we want to see, but there are certain unfortunate occurrences that might somehow be beyond our control. We don't know what exactly led to the death of the fan. Was it a stampede or anything else? But we're definitely looking forward to the World Cup, the FIFA in itself, investigating to identify what exactly led to the death of the fan. This was a fan that wanted to enjoy not only the opening ceremony, but also a tournament that we've been waiting for the past 4 years. So seeing this happen is just something unfortunate, right? But then we just pray that his or her soul rest in peace. Now, the other matter on the point of discourse has to do with the DR Congo squad being cleared to enter the United States. So we know pretty well that, as Nodin has mentioned, this is some of the negativities that precedes the FIFA World Cup in itself. And somehow, it's just, should I say, it's not something that we'll actually be expecting will happen with a tournament of this magnitude. It's not something that we see occur so many times when the Qatar World Cup in 2022 rolled around. But the fact that we are seeing not only this, not only the fact that DR Congo squad is just being cleared to enter the United States, quite a number of teams have actually been cleared before now to enter the US, whereby they've actually been having their trainings ahead. So I do think that it's a good thing that they've been cleared, right? But at the same time, we just like, it would have been better if we didn't see an occurrence like this occur, because normally, we want to identify the primary reason as to why there is a delay in them being cleared and them only getting their visas up until this point, whereby they were having their match just a couple of days from now. I do not know, but there's a chance that this delay in itself might somehow affect the preparation for the matches that they'll be having when their own group stage matches begin. So it's a good thing that they've arrived, but we're just hoping that even if there are other teams who might be struggling or who are yet to receive their visas for their own matches, we just hope that it will be somewhat appreciated if they receive their visas before this, because normally the procedure should be that they should receive their visas ahead of time, so that there are any operations or any technical adjustment they want to make to their squad or squad list that will be engaged in the matches will have been done before now. And then the final one that talks about the red card. It's a record that that's not the kind of record we want to see, like 3 red cards since 2006. The last World Cup, we only had 4 in total, but the opening encounter here, we had a total of 3 red cards. I don't think that the first red card that was given to the Mexican player, I think, to me personally, I wouldn't think that a warning would have been sufficient. Not exactly a red card, but the 2 other red cards to the South African players, I do think that those were valid, because I think that there is a particular one from the style of play that South Africa sort of utilized in that encounter. It is similar as if they tend to prioritize physicality beyond actual technical ability. I'll say that, you know, Mexico actually edged out South Africa in that encounter because Africa had 0 shots on targets overall. And it was quite shocking because we know pretty well that if we're to look at it or consider it from an African standpoint, South Africa is one of the leading sides if we are to play in Africa. But I think that in itself crystallizes the concept that football in Africa, it is different and maybe on a lower level compared to the kind of football that is played in the Americas and also in the European side. So I'm pretty sure that South Africa will be looking forward to making some adjustments when they go in the next encounter. But I must say that performance and that result in itself was not one that we were expecting from South Africa at a stage like this.
All right. I'm going to give it to Nuruddin to talk quickly. But let's just look at other incidents from the morning digest this morning where my producer showed Ivory Coast fans are mass denied U.S. visa. National team to play 2026 World Cup group stage without organized home support. We are getting that again. Also, another one is coming from Morocco as they eat double injury blow. Izal Azuli, also right knee ligament injury. The man plays for Betis, and Naif Agerd is playing for Marseille. And we have Mohamed Amin Sabai of Angers being the replacement, and Wani Sadan of Al Fatih being the replacement for Naif Agerd. There you have it. Just two more of that, and we talk about what happened yesterday and what to look forward today.
It's all going wrong for the African continent at the World Cup right now. Morocco have lost 2 of their players, but luckily for them and with the relaxed sanctions for this tournament, they've been allowed to replace those players that are injured. So good one for them. Those players will be able to catch up, and not just them. Brazil also had 1 player replaced, and that's a replaced player that got injured as well. So it's just all happening all around the African team at the moment. For DR Congo, good one, they've sorted themselves out 6 days before their opener against Portugal. They've been able to get themselves into the US. And for
Ivory Coast.
Yeah,
Ivory Coast being
DR Congo.
The fans
for Ivory Coast,
yes.
that is another problem we faced. And leading up to this tournament, Iran had their whole fan ticket withdrew by the US officials, and there was no questions or anything into the press to why that was up and why that happened. But now we know it's all leading up to the political tensions between both nations and Israel. So that one is settled. But for Ivory Coast, I don't understand why. But this is one of the sanctions or immigration conditions Trump has given to FIFA before this World Cup. FIFA had the chance to say we are not going to take this or we'll take it. And at the end of the day, FIFA has gone ahead with their competition, and they just want to suit their host as much as possible, and they've relaxed a lot of things, and we'll continue to hear more stories like this moving on. Don't be surprised when some fans are not even denied access to match venues due to 1 or 2 things that comes up on their record when they go onto the scan. And for South Africa, we've complained about their style of football over a while, even on the African scene. The last time they played Nigeria in qualifiers for the World Cup, there were several tackles that were not supposed to allow them go through. If that had been copped on the local scene on the continent, maybe they would have switched up and maybe done 1 or 2 things to change their style of play, because at the world stage, physicality is not all there is to play, and that's not even the way South Africa play. I've seen them play better football, or that will go bruise. This is not the best style of football they can play. So it's not physical. It's not physical strength that's going to sort that for you. So they need to go back to the drawing board and see 1 or 2 things that went wrong yesterday, and maybe they will come back in the last 2 games of the group stage.
All right, let's move straight into the game that happened yesterday, and let's discuss about that one. Mexico against South Africa, and also South Korea against the Czech Republic. And let me inform you that it's double for trouble. South Africa has just become the first team to receive 2 red cards in the same FIFA World Cup match since Netherlands and Portugal received 2 apiece in their famous Battle of Nuremberg in 2006. All of this is happening in 2006, and I'm wondering. Also,
have you seen the new quote of 2026 is the new 2016?
Yes, I think that has been trending for a while.
I agree. Now, Temba Wani is also the first substitute to receive a direct red card in the World Cup match since 23rd of June 2024. The man that picked up that one was Anton Ribic to pick up that red card. Now, let's talk about the first game for you, Sanuruddin. I'm excited for you to see the opening game between South Africa and Mexico. Also, you look at the lineup for you, what happened, and nobody was talking about the man with the highest goal-scoring boot in Saudi Arabia, the man that got the first goal in this year's World Cup, got the first goal, his first World Cup goal also for Mexico in a big stage like this.
Yes, he announced himself to the big stage. Everybody didn't know much about him leading up to this tournament, and he just announced himself. He got the ball off the South African midfielder who misplaced his pass.
Sit on the game, the man that got the red card.
So
yeah,
that's to show you how unprepared they were into the early hours of those games. Because I saw South Africa, they played a little bit jittery. They couldn't compose themselves in front of their goalkeeper, and that cost them the first goal. But over time in the game, Mexico drew in confidence. They were passing the ball around very well. They couldn't create one or chances. Williams had to make 1 or 2 saves to keep the game in favor of South Africa, but he couldn't do much about the second goal that came early in the second half. And the red card, I think, dampened the chances of South Africa. And like I mentioned earlier, they are charged for physicality over playing actual football, because a lot of time in the game, they switched to long balls for several times in the game, especially in the first half. And I'm wondering why you've not realized the long ball is not going to work. You don't have the pace advantage over the Mexican defense. And before the ball comes back, having lost space in the air, it's going to affect the way you attack your opponent, and you're giving them chance to retreat and even set their backline to repel anything you want to bring towards them. So for South Africa yesterday, it went all shades of wrong, and for Mexico, their tactics went right. They got chances for Jimenez, who later got the second goal. Good one for him. So for Mexico right now, good one in front of their fans, 3 points in the bag, a clean sheet, and 2 goals. That's what you want to start the World Cup with, and let's see what happens in the remaining games of the fixtures.
All right, Mahbouba, let's quickly talk about Mexico for you. How excited were you to see them pick up all 3 points on their home turf? You know, we say it's 11 man playing the field, but they had 12. Their fans are covering that game and buzzing all through the final minutes of the game. You look at what the manager said. He said the first half was not what he wanted from his boys, but the second half changed the whole thing for them. And Raul Jimenez are getting a goal. You need to see the emotions for you. What ticked the box for Mexico, and what did not happen for South Africa?
Okay, I must first of all start from the point that, you know, it was really great watching the opening encounter of this tournament of this magnitude. And for a couple with the fact that Mexico did have the fan advantage and the fans right behind them all over the stadium, it did give them that sort of psychological advantage that South African fans do not have. And I think outside the stadium as well, there was also a lot of buzz and also a lot of support outside the stadium. So it was pretty much, there was quite a lot against South African players even before the encounter itself even began. But down to the match in itself between Mexico and South Africa, as we mentioned, these two sides played 2 different types of football. While South Africa relied so much on physicality, Mexican side utilize more of tactics, which sort of surpassed that of South Africa. And as Nordin has mentioned earlier, the idea of playing long passes, it's more as if South Africa didn't realize their mistake all through their 90 minutes of them playing against the Mexican side. The idea of you playing long passes was not a good option 2 towards 2, because the more they keep on using that kind of tactic, it kept on favoring the Mexican side. Mexican side, they had the tactical edge. Yeah. They had the physical strength, which they outran South African players quite a number of times. And I must mention that right after they got that opening goal, it sort of destabilized South African players more, and they were jittery, and that was even obvious in itself. Although they did try in their own way to sort of find a way to get themselves back into the game. But as I mentioned, it was 2 sides playing 2 different kind of football, and South Africans' form of playing was more or less just lower or below the kind of football that the Mexican side were playing. And when Raul Jimenez actually got that goal, it was an emotional goal, because we mentioned that he had a skull fracture a couple of years before now. And then I think, based on the research that I had, after he recovered from that skull fracture, he was somewhat, shall I say, scared to actually attempt headers. And then, yesterday, he got the goal when he wasn't headed. So it was emotional. He got his first ever World Cup goal. So it was just great, the fact that Mexico were able to get the first win of the World Cup on their home soil.
Yeah.
And unlike the last time in 2010, when South Africa was the one that got the first goal of the FIFA World Cup in front of their own fans, the same thing but in a different form actually kind of played out here. Mexico got the first goal, they won the match right in front of their own fans. So it was great. And then, as Nuruddin has further emphasized earlier, South Africa will need to go back to the drawing board. We've already, I think, Opta could have predicted that South Africa actually has the lowest chance of them
qualifying from the group.
Yes, or even surviving the group in any way. And somehow that prediction is slowly it's slowly coming to pass here. Mexico has just defeated them by 2-0 in the opening encounter, and assuming South Africa had pulled off a fight in a way, we can say that perhaps they can still have some sort of up going into the next 2 encounters. But with this kind of performance against Mexico, 0 shots, 0 shots, like 0 shot throughout 90 minutes, that is just, it was shocking, not just to the players themselves, but to the entirety of some African fans who might perhaps hope that South Africa, being one of the top sides in Africa, then putting out that kind of performance at that level, it was just not what we expected. But then South Africa did a great job, clinching all 3 points and the win in front of their own fans, clinching the first one in the first ever World Cup. We're looking forward to seeing them surviving the group and going further in the tournament. We don't know how far they're going to go in the tournament just yet, but it will be to the...
It's a step in order for
It's a
them.
step in order, the fact that they've secured this. So we're looking forward to seeing what exactly is going to play out in the next coming encounters and further in the tournament progresses.
All right, beautiful. Before listen to Nuruddin, let me just give an update that it's been 20 years. This is the earliest first goal of a FIFA World Cup has been scored since 2006. Here we go again, 2006. Philip Lahm for Germany versus Costa Rica. After 6 minutes, Julian Quininius put Mexico ahead. Also, my producer just showed me a young star, a 17-year-old Gilberto Mora, known as the Mexican Pedri, came on against South Africa. He's the youngest player in this World Cup. Amazing feat for him to see that one through. So I know really quickly you want to say something before we discuss the game between South Korea and the Czech Republic.
Yes, for South Africa, I think one of the things that hampered their chances again was for the national team, about 6 or 7 of their players play for a certain club. I think that's Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
So the level of football those players are used to is different from the level of football they will play on the world stage. So that's a reason to call for better football to be played on the continent. We saw them represent the African contingent at the Club World Cup last year. We saw what they did against top sides from all around the world. So I think this, with exposure to tournaments like this, is going to up the quality of their football, and maybe they'll get it right. But for me, I'm not looking forward to seeing them long enough in the tournament. Nobody wants to take their jobs. They should go back home and get their jobs.
I think we shouldn't bring politics into football, though.
Nobody's bringing politics.
We are, because we're literally talking about the job. We're actually looking for, we shouldn't be banting them, by the way.
No, why should we be banting them?
That is the duty of the fans, to bant them. Let's just speak with the facts.
No, but he's really okay.
I'm a fan of the Super Eagles, so I have the right to bant my opponent.
Let's talk
You
about-
won't see me cheering on Ghana when they play in their house.
Let's talk about
It
South
was not the same thing.
Yeah,
the
let's
last
talk about
time
South
out,
Korea and Czech Republic quickly. Because of our time, let's look at that one. The game ended 2 goals. So who was up watching the game at 3 a.m.?
I didn't
wasn't.
catch the game. I saw the highlights.
All right, amazing.
That's one thing FIFA need to
Yes.
adjust.
We
and
have to
adjust
I
it.
think just the World Cup just started.
It's a timing. You can't.
They can't
No,
adjust it.
if you are really serious and religious about the football matches, I can tell you, I can count 3 or 4 people, if you ask them, they were all up all night for it. And this is just the beginning of the competition. When the competition gets to the real stage, when teams start playing well and there's more coverage on it, even the stadium was empty.
It was packed up.
It was
The
packed.
South-
It was packed.
was
South
packed.
Korea.
Not all,
You're talking South Korea.
Yes, the South
Okay,
Korea.
okay, okay, Mexico.
No. That's the host nation. You don't, even if it's to pack their fans from their homes and bring them to the stadium,
They will.
they will definitely do that.
Okay,
But
I
for
think
the game between South Korea and Czech Republic,
Yeah.
the stadium was not as packed as you would expect the opening game of a nation to be at the World Cup. So it's just the early stages in the tournament. When the Club World Cup started as well, we had issues about teams not filling the stand with their fans and all. So it's just early stages, just 2 games into the tournament. When the time goes on, I think the sleeping cycle of everybody will adjust to what we have at the moment. Last time there was a tournament, the Olympics, during the night, people were all up.
The FIFA
Yes.
Club World Cup.
Before
also,
people were watching, so it's just the beginning of the tournament, and I know the viewership is going to increase, and because of the array of streaming platforms that are based on displaying the World Cup, a lot of people will tap into it and we'll see the fan buzz of the World Cup very soon.
All right, let's discuss the South Korea quickly within a few seconds so we can discuss the game to look forward to today. South Korea against the Czech Republic. You look at the expected goals. In favor, it went to South Korea at 2.30 expected goals, 0.83. Ball possession was in favor of South Korea. Total shot 15-17. Shot on target 6-4. The big chances created 4-1. Corner kicks 5-4. And you look at the passes, 87% to 70%. Just one yellow card in that game. So it looks like he went in favor of South Korea and they were able to pick up all victories.
The stats told the tale of the game. That was how it went. The highlights I watched, South Korea edged the game out, and it goes back to tournament football. Set pieces play a vital role when you are playing in tournament, and it took a throw from the Czech Republic player, I think Tomáš Souček, to unlock the South Korean defense for all they've done in the first half. But they persisted, they kept on doing what they were doing very well. They kept the ball well, created chances, and at the end of the day, they got the first goal, and later on, they got the winner in the second half. So that's how you want to play. Don't forget your tactics when things don't go your way. Don't go shabbily. Don't just abruptly change decisions when you lose. It's a 90-minute game.
Yes.
If you keep up with what you've trained all tournament long, you get the result at the end of the day. And South Korea did just that. Got the equalizer, got the winner, and that's what you want to see. The display, the mentality, and that's to show you. Experience helps on the big stage. It helps a lot, and for Czech Republic, they need to go away from the Aram football they want to practice. Set pieces alone will get you the tournament here. You need to be able to be inventive, think outside the box, create chances.
Well, you want to start the Premier League?
That's the Premier League. This is a 1 month tournament.
That's beautiful.
And you have to be able to be inventive.
Yeah.
Find ways to outsmart your opponent. If the set piece is how you're going to work, then you need to defend
Agree.
very well and keep the ball away from your opponent. And maybe at the end of the day, you see yourself in positions where you can get a victory for yourself.
All right, let's move quickly. It's going to be Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina. I want to look forward to Canada coach Jason Martin looks to guide his side to the later stage of a third major tournament across the last 3 years as the World Cup co-host welcomes UEFA playoff winners Bosnia and Herzegovina to Toronto. Let's look at some odd stats and streaks to look forward to. Just 2 of Canada's last 11 matches saw both teams score. 9 of Canada's last 10 matches produced a total under 2.5 goals. Bosnia have scored 8 of their last 10 goals after halftime, and 8 of Bosnia's last matches saw both teams score. Some players to look out for. There you have the captain of the side, the youngest captain in the World Cup. Jonathan Tah also is looking a top goal scorer. Jonathan Tah is said to be the man we'll look forward to. Edin Dzeko leads the way for his nation with 6 goals from his last 9 appearances during the World Cup qualifying, as well as playing all 3 of their games at the 2014 edition. Also, let me inform you that Canadian captain Alfonso Davies is likely to miss the opening game, while Bosnia Aris Tabovski has been would also travel with the squad despite his injury setback. Let me inform you that the last 5 games for Canada has been 3 draws and 2 wins, and for Bosnia and Herzegovina is 3 draws and 2 wins. Let me bring to your knowledge that the referee of that game is Tello from Argentina, and the stadium is going to be BMO Field at Toronto ON, and a capacity of 30,991. Mabuba, quickly, within a few seconds, what are you expecting from this game between Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Well, both these two sides are going to go in head-to-head. With Canada having their own support, they'll definitely not want to disappoint their fans by finding a way to actually secure a win over Bosnia. But Bosnia in the playoff also proved to us that this is not a side that they can underestimate. I can recall that when Italy realized that they were going to go against a side at Bosnia, it was happy news for them until it was otherwise when they actually went to play in the playoff and it led to penalty. Then Bosnia winning by 4-1. So it might not lead to a penalty because there are no penalties in the group stage, of course. It's either you win or you draw or you lose. But this side, we're looking forward to see what exactly is going to play. It's going to be an intense encounter with Canada having their own support, them wanting to win in front of their own fans and also taking the stronger foot right there in the World Cup. And Bosnia as well definitely wants to prove that they might be a side that the world underestimate, but you know pretty well that underestimation can actually give them an advantage. And they were looking forward to putting their best foot when they go against Canada. And we're looking forward to seeing what exactly is going to play out when these two sides face each other, both Canada and Bosnia.
And let me ask you, Shanuddin, are you expecting anything too much from this game between Canada and Bosnia? Bosnia?
It's going to be interesting. Both sides have their own strong points and weak points. For the Bosnian side, we've spoken about Edin Dzeko, his contributions at the last time they participated at the World Cup, and he's going to be a pivotal player again. He's a senior head, and he's going to lead the side. And for the Canadian side, they have goal scorer in Jonathan, who scored David Jonathan. We know what he did in the France League One before he got a move away from there. So he's an exciting player to look forward to. And for them, there are doubts about Davis starting, the captain of the Canadian side starting, but he's going to be a very important player for them as well. And for the Canadian troop, this is the first time in a while we are seeing them on the big stage. They're playing in front of their fans. They just need to enjoy it. And the game is going to be reliant on pace. From the Canadian side, they have to rely on the counter. We've seen what Jason March did when he was with Leeds. He's a very good tactician. Let's see what he's going to do with the national team this time around. And for Bosnia and Herzegovina, I want to see what they want to do. This is the last World Cup for Edin Dzeko. Are they going to give him a proper farewell? Let's see what happens at the end of the day.
All right, quickly we need to move so we can talk more stories. 2022, host nation Qatar are getting ready to get their 2026 campaign started against Switzerland, who have progressed to the last 16 in the last 3 editions. So, Nuruddin, what are you expecting? I've just been saying, now they are calling him Chuku Wambo Shaka, who has been playing Ashake's song back to back. But it is what it is quickly within a few seconds.
It's good times for Nigerian entertainment industry. We saw Burna Boy perform alongside Shakira yesterday. Rema is built to perform. Ayasta is part of the World Cup album, so that's exciting for us. Even though we don't have our team there, we have our presence at the World Cup. And between Qatar and Switzerland, it's going to be an exciting one. The Swiss side are a very, very experienced side when it comes to the World Cup. He mentioned the last 3 times they've been to the quarter final, and Shaka is easily charged again. They have loads of players that are exciting. They have Mbolo there. They have Rodriguez at the right back position.
We have now Okafor. Thank you.
So they are very exciting, very exciting side. And I know for me, they're one of the dark horses at the tournament. You don't place so much focus on them losing this competition, but when they get there, they show what they are made of. I think they knocked out Spain or
they would always progress to the round of 16
and quarterfinal. So they're very exciting side. I'm looking forward to them. For Qatar, last time out they were hosts. They didn't get to where they want to get. They were poor, but this is a chance for them to redeem themselves. And I don't know much about their football, but it's definitely has evolved from the last time. And because of the investment of the government in their football as well, it's raised the level of football in the nation. They have the Asian Champions League as well. That has helped attract players of good quality to the league. So it's going to take its toll on the Qatari national side as well, because they have 1 or 2 players, and they sometimes import 1 or 2 players to help their side. So it's exciting, and I'm just excited for what's to come in the game between Qatar and Switzerland later.
Okay, beautiful. Mabuba, let me ask you your prediction ahead of this game quickly.
Well, I'm tipping Switzerland to win the encounter between Switzerland and Qatar. And although I don't have a precise scoreline now, but if we are going to look at how solid these two sides, both Switzerland and Qatar, as mentioned earlier, we do know that pretty well that Switzerland are, should I say, the dark horses. They always find a way to show their competence in a competition of this magnitude. And for Qatar, we don't know how well they have improved from their previous performance at the 2022 World Cup. Because if you can recall, they lost all their matches in the group stage in the last World Cup, becoming the first host to lose all 3 matches in the group stage. But for this World Cup, it's been 4 years since then. We'd love to see what kind of adjustment, what kind of changes they made. Perhaps that in itself will be enough for them to maybe clinch 1 or 3 points when they go against Switzerland. And for the encounter between Canada and Bosnia, it's almost difficult to predict who exactly is going to go all the way. But if I am to go, I might go with a draw.
A draw.
Yes, okay. Both Switzerland and Canada and Bosnia a draw, and for Switzerland and Qatar, Switzerland for the win.
All right. If you're watching us right now, you can drop your predictions in the comment section, and you can be part of those that will win come Monday, where we'll look straight to other games to look forward to. The weekend is upon us. We have match day fixtures. Morocco is going to play Brazil. We have other games to look forward to in the FIFA World Cup. It's going to be exciting. USA are going to play Paraguay, but we need to move quickly and just drop 1 or 2 updates. And then quickly give me an update in the world of tennis and Formula 1.
In the world of tennis, it's so sad. Serena's comeback has been cut short due to injury to Victoria Mboko, doubles partner at the London Championships. But I think that has paved way for Serena for the Wimbledon champion, because Wimbledon has tweeted and said, "See you at the tournament at SW16." So we are waiting for updates. Is she going to perform at the doubles? Is she going to play in the singles as well this time around? News around that will come out later on. And in the Formula 1, this is the first of 5 races over the next 5 weeks. And with the buzz from the World Cup and all, a lot of people have even forgotten.
Yeah, they forget about Formula 1.
But Formula 1 is also players from the Formula 1 are also drivers in Formula 1 are also participating in the World Cup frenzy. We saw in their media day, we saw them play with football. They were asked for their teams. Kimi Antonelli, the Italian, was asked what team would he like to see. He said Italy, but since Italy are not there, he's not supporting anybody at the World Cup. So it's just exciting times right now. Despite that, we have the Grand Prix at Barcelona this weekend. There's free practice today, qualifying tomorrow, and the main races on Sunday. And for the Ferrari contingent, they made inquiries into the Mercedes car after the last race, and there were investigations from the FIA checking what happened with the car and all, and they've rejected the diffuser report from Lewis Hamilton and said they can go ahead with it. And I think Ferrari are working on replicating that same model on their car as well. And for them in the Ferrari as well, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are having issues on brake issues, because Lewis Hamilton uses a different braking system from the one Charles Leclerc uses, and Leclerc has switched back to Lewis Hamilton. He's going with the legend now. Let's see what happens between that in the Barcelona Grand Prix this weekend. So for Mercedes, they are here to sort out the difference between their first and second drivers. Kimi Antonelli has taken the world stage away from his partner this season. This is not what we expected, but it's Formula One. Anything sure does happen, and we're waiting for what happens at the end of the Barcelona Grand Prix this weekend.
All right, beautiful. It's going to be Barcelona Grand Prix in the world of Formula One, and definitely expecting more actions right there. The world of transfer is buzzing. Madrid making massive move. Jose Mourinho is back. Bernardo Silva looks like a man set to move to Madrid. It's Dumfries, it's Rudiger extension. It is Ibrahim Konate right there. Madrid are the one making the massive move. But we're back here on Monday to give you more of actions in the world of World Cup, more of actions in the world of transfer, more of actions across the world of sport. But my producer just letting me know that the game between Robo Queens and Bayelsa Queens is still very much in favor of Bayelsa Queens. 1-0, still 1-0. 83rd minute in that game. I want to say big thank to my producer, to the crew. Thank you so much for making sure Dominion Sport remains on the global stage. A big thank you to Mabuba, the Queen of Sport, and also Sanuruddin, the expert analyst, giving us updates across more stories in the world of sport. We're back here to give you updates in the world of basketball, but please make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and make sure you enjoy the World Cup frenzy right here. Bye for now, and stay blessed.